Okay then, look, last one of the day from me, and it's a good, very short one in the main because it's regarding politics, and I'm not very big with politics. As I've said in an earlier post, I just tend to follow nobody. I tend to believe in nobody. But again, I read something today, I think it was, from yesterday's paper, and it surprised me. It's regarding this Dominic Raab fella. He's been sort of on trial for like 2 or 3 months, waiting for the findings of the report to come through. He's been heavily on trial for the last 2 or 3 days when we've had one party pushing for him to be pushed and pushed quickly, and the other party, the party that he's with, dithering. He's been very much in the spotlight. I'm not for bullying at all. I think 8 people have complained about him with 20 different cases of bullying. And I was saying to the wife, I said it on a couple of occasions, what is it about these politicians? Why can none of them ever just hold their hands up and say, yes, I did it? Or just say, I was in the wrong. Or just say, look, I'm going to walk. Or look, there's my resignation. Why can none of them say, yes, I'm at fault? It's the same with all parties, but more so the Conservative Party of late because they've led the country. Boris could never hold his hands up. Rishi's been the same on a few subjects. He can't hold his hands up. Is it Theresa May? She couldn't hold her hands up. The guy with a quasi-quarteng or whatever it couldn't hold. Nobody can hold hands up and say, look, I've made a mistake. Nobody. They're just incapable of doing it. They're completely incapable. So I said to my other half, he's got to go. He's going to go, and then he's got to go. Sunak can't back him. How can he back him? He's just got to go, 8 people, 20 accounts, they can't all be wrong. And that's how I thought it would be. And that's what's happened. And he's gone. And I thought it might as well ended there. But all these reports I've read, and I don't mind admitting it was in the Daily Mail. I believe the Mail is a Conservative, they back the Conservative Party, I believe. I didn't know that one about it. I mean, I think I've told the story early on that I went from one of the red tops. I used to buy a red top till about 15, 20 years ago. Just got fed up of the stories I kept seeing there. The people that were on the front pages all the time. It was like Jordan, Jane Goody, Sam Fox and others, often with the clothes on. I'm not on about the page 3 bit, that didn't bother me. But it was people that were nobodies and they were always front page news, and it just bored me to death and I got fed up with the whole thing. So I ended up with this paper and I love it. I love a lot of the editorial. I love a lot of the pieces in there to do with, factual stories and things about the war. I love the sports writing. They have a guy called Oliver Holt there who, I don't know if he's moved along or just been demoted. I hope he's not been demoted. I've done a thing on him on there if you want to have a look at it. Brilliant journalist. Graham Souness is on there now. Brilliant journalist. Danny Murphy does a piece there. Brilliant journalist. It's a great paper. I like horse racing. Awful newspaper for racing. The worst paper of all. But luckily on a Saturday I buy a red top as well because the Daily Mail is so bad. Feel sorry for the pundits on there. Again, I'm digressing, but I do tend to digress. But I was reading something today, I read the headlines, and it's like 6 pages of it in the end, and I've not read it. I've honestly not read it. I heard Raab's, I heard his interview yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? The day that he walked, the day that he resigned. And he said he doesn't believe he's bullied, he really doesn't. So even though he's walked, he's saying this, which again, I was disappointed to hear. And he said he's not done this and he's not done that, and I thought, it's all sour grapes. But reading the headlines today and reading a couple of the headings each time on the editorial, it's saying that the findings are that he never raised his voice to anybody and he never swore at anybody. And the biggest thing he's been pulled for is the fact that he's questioned some of his lower, junior ministers, the work and the output on the work that they've done. Now, to me, if that's all he's done, to me, and I'm a nobody, calling somebody's work if it isn't up to standard, there's nothing wrong with that. Calling somebody's work if it isn't up to standard when they're in the jobs that they're in and they're running the country, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. The work has to be spot on. They're working for all of us. We're employing them. We're paying them the wages. I did hear that he said there was. Did he say junior ministers or? I can't even think of the terminology because I'm not clever. I'm not a politician. Was it backbenchers? Whatever it was, they were just trying to get rid of him. He said, I've not bullied. I think he said it on the news. I've not swore at people. I've not raised my voice. I've just questioned the work. And he said, but these people wanted me out. And they've wanted me out. Was it because he supported Sunak and didn't support Boris or something similar to that? Now, the way the Mail are taking it, I think it was just today, it was in, I only read it today. I think what the Mail are saying is, Rishi, what kind of leadership is this when you can't back your own guy? When they say that, they don't mean back their own guy to over a cliff if he's in the wrong. They mean you should be backing your own guy because he hasn't raised his voice to anybody, he hasn't swore at anybody, he hasn't really bullied as such, he's just pulled people for the quality of the work. Now, if that's correct, the Mail are correct. If that's correct, Rishi, you shouldn't be getting rid of him. Now, I always believed in the last 2 or 3 months he should go. I believed in the last 3 or 4 days he should go. When he went, I was glad he went, even though I've not followed the stories. But if he really hasn't raised his voice and swore at people, and all he's done is question the quality of the work that's come out from the people underneath him, surely that's him doing his job, is it not? I mean, I don't know. I'm only me. That's my thoughts on it. Again, comments down below. If you agree with me, yeah, great. If you don't, yeah, great. But as I've said in a past piece, I don't vote. I've never voted all my life. I don't believe in any of them. I really, really don't. I don't believe in any of them. You know, as I said at the start of this piece, nobody can hold their hands up and say, yeah, I've done wrong. Definitely nobody can walk from the party and say, well, I'm in that party, but I don't agree with what my boss is doing there. None of them can. I know they'd lose a job, but I'd love somebody to say that and say, well, look, Rishi's saying this, but I don't agree with him. Or, is it Keir's saying this, but I don't agree with him. I'd love that. I would love somebody to be strong enough to be honest and to tell the truth and to tell us what they're really thinking. But my thoughts, if the Mail are right in the reporting, if he hasn't swore at anybody, if he hasn't raised his voice, if he hasn't been extremely nasty with 1 or 2 people, and if all he's done is question the work that's come out of them and wanted better, is it enough to sack him? I don't think it is. And should his boss be backing him? I think he should. But I don't know if those stories are correct. Anyway, as I say, comments down below, and that is it for me.